Think of the thing you desire to learn. Believe in yourself and your efforts will earn the ability to learn something new. Take an aim at the target true. Repeat after me. I can retell events from the story. Time to bake. I can answer questions about the story. Time to bake. I can read the decodable text. Time to bake. Gather round together and listen up well. We're going to read a story that you can retell. When you read the story, you will grow. At the end, you'll say back what you know. Our text today looks a little different than our ones in the past. This is a different type of text. This is called a poem. What's this called? A poem is a little bit shorter of a text. It's a type of text that often uses rhyming words. So today you'll probably hear a lot of rhyming words. And it doesn't always have a story with a big storyline. So I'd like you to listen to our engagement text, Time to Bake. A big baker makes some bread. He wiggles his belly and shakes his head. Jib and jab, rub and dub. He washes his hands in a big round tub. Bash and dash and then a thud. Bam and jam, chop and cut. The pot is big and the lid is shut. The water boils and the pan is hot. Sizzles, zizzle, and bubbles pop. The oil spills above the heat. The dogs are hungry, they want to eat. The ham is hot and the dogs will fuss. Yip and yap and then a hush. All right, I'm going to read it one more time. This time I want you to track it with me. You can point to the words, you can read it with me, or you can just track it with your eyes. So we're going to start at the A on the top. A big baker makes some bread. He wiggles his belly and shakes his head. Jib and jab, rub a dub. He washes his hands in a big round tub. Bash and dash and then a thud. Bam and jam, chop and cut. The pot is big and the lid is shut. The water boils and the pan is hot. Sizzles, zizzle, and bubbles pop. The oil spills above the heat. The dogs are hungry, they want to eat. The ham is hot and the dogs will fuss. Yip and yap and then a hush. Great job. For a comprehension conversation today, we're going to start with our recall. So what is the baker making in the story? Great, if you look back in the story, the baker is making bread. A big baker makes some bread. What does the baker feed to the dogs? Good. The baker feeds the dogs ham. Down here it says that the ham is hot and the dogs will fuss because they're waiting for the ham to cool, right? Now we're going to talk about some vocabulary and language, what some of the words mean. What does it mean when it says sizzles, zizzle? Yeah, those are called onomatopoeias. The words that sound when you speak, just like they sound when you hear them. So when you hear something hot cooking on a stove, it makes sizzling sound. So the sizzling is making a zizzle. Zzz, zizzle, zizzle, zizzle. And then it also talks about bubbles popping. And so pop is the sound that the bubbles make. So it's describing sounds. Now the text says the oil spits. What does that mean? How can oil spit? Oil is a type of liquid that people cook with. Good. Oil can spit by jumping out of the pan. It's not spitting like somebody would spit from their mouths, but it's a good way to describe it because it's kind of similar to that when someone spits on you. The oil pops up at you out of the pan and it lands on you just like spit would. Okay, digging deeper, where did the story take place? Yeah, in a bakery or a kitchen of some sort. Why do you think the dogs were fussing? We kind of talked about this at the beginning. They were fussing because they were hungry. And why couldn't they eat right away? The ham was too hot, yeah. Now, what words could you use to describe what it looks like in this bakery or kitchen? So just think about some of the words that you heard. Does it sound like a quiet place? No, not at all. There was a bash and a dash and a thud, a bam and a jam and a chop and a cut. There's sizzling going on and bubbles popping and oil spilling over. And there's dogs who are fussing and yipping and yapping. So it's a loud place. Sounds kind of chaotic, busy, maybe a little bit unorganized because there's so much going on at one time. All right, we're going to read another story now. The decodable reader that matches up with our engagement text. Now we'll read a story with letters that we know. Get your finger ready to follow the flow. When we see a word, we'll stop and look and get our mouths ready to read the book. This book is called Time to Bake. What's it called? Good. Now you'll notice in the word time that the I is making its name. It's saying its name. Time. The reason it does that is because of the magic E at the end. The magic E is making the I say his name. The E doesn't say anything though. He used all his strength to make the I say his name. Time. Now let's look at the word at the end of the title. Time to bake. Now bake is spelled B-A-K-E. When I tap it out, I hear B-A-K. The E is not making a sound again. The A is saying his name because of the E. The E used all his strength to help the A say his name. B-A-K. So when you see an E at the end of a word, usually it's an E that doesn't make any noise, okay? And usually when you see a word with an E at the end, the other vowel is going to say its name. So A will say A, E will say E, I will say I, O will say O, or U will say U. Let's go on to our story now. Jib and jab, rub a dub. Your turn. Bash and dash, and then a thud. Your turn. Bam and jam, chop and cut. Your turn. The pot is big and the lid is shut. Your turn. The ham is hot and the dog will fuss. Your turn. Yip and yap and then a hush. Your turn. Great job. Now in this story that we read, there were a lot of nonsense words in it, words that aren't really real words, words that you hear all the time. Jib and jab, rub-a-dub, bash and dash, and then a thud. Bam and jam, chop and cut. The pot is big and the lid is shut. The ham is hot and the dog will fuss. Yip and yap, and then a hush. A lot of these words are not high frequency words, so you might have to go through and sound a lot of them out. So that first word, J-I-B, I would tap it out. J-I-B. Let's go to the third page. I want you to tap out this word, B-A-S-H, the first word. Now, what sound does S-H make? Shh, don't let it trick you. Let's tap it. B-A-sh, bash. Good. Now, it's important to remember the digraph sound SH. Otherwise, you might have pronounced it wrong. Let's look at the next word, D-A-S-H. I'm going to pretend I don't remember the digraph sound, and I'm going to sound it out the wrong way. D-A-S. Das? That's not a word, is it? That wouldn't make sense to me. So it's important to know that digraph so that the words make sense to you. Sh, dash. When we say a word that begins with sh, like shut, how can you remember the sound that sh makes? What key card did we have in our classroom for sh? Yeah, it was a person with their finger to the lips, like they were telling someone to be quiet. Shh. How can that help you with reading and writing? Good. Just like we just talked about, Mrs. Green pronounced that word wrong because she forgot what sh says. To help yourself with reading and writing and to not make mistakes, you have to remember those key cards and you have to remember those different sounds. Great job today.